If you play a lot of video games in your spare time, chances are you're playing a lot more now than you used to. I mean, I don't blame you. Being stuck inside during a global pandemic will free up some time. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been spending a lot of the time trying to catch up on single-player games I never had time for before, but I've also found myself playing multiplayer games more than I thought I would. That's what I normally play, and you'd think I'd take a break for a while to get through all the single-player stuff I have not even touched. But the reality is, I often look forward to the contact I have with people in these games more than I used to before. COVID has reduced the amount of people I talk to on a regular basis to a very small amount compared to before. So these multiplayer games have ended up being my only window to the outside world for the most part. And I know I'm not alone in this. When you look at it broadly, the isolation we're experiencing right now really highlights the social features in the games we play. And if I achieve anything with this video, I just want to point that out. And at the risk of sounding like I'm going way off topic, I'm going to talk about this Austrian architect named Victor Gruen and a concept called the third place. So I was listening to a podcast in my car a while back that got me thinking about this. The podcast's name is 99% Invisible, by the way. It's absolutely amazing, but that's aside from the point. Victor Gruen lived in the 1950s. He was an Austrian architect, and he developed the modern idea of the shopping mall. You see, he was a believer in this idea called the third place. The basic concept being that we live in three places during our lives. The first is the home, the second is work, and the third is community. And a thing he noticed in American culture was that we were rapidly losing our third place. Americans spent, and still do spend, most of their time in between work and home riding in their cars. That third place, that place where you interact with people in your community and make connections, just wasn't there for a lot of people. And of course this varies depending on who you are and where you live. But from my personal perspective, I really felt that. Gruen made a broad, but fairly accurate observation about society. So he thought that if he designed a shopping mall, a pedestrian area where everybody could interact with each other, it might rectify the problem to some tangible degree. The mall would act as a social medium for people to meet one another. Not just to meet up with friends, but maybe interact with people they would have never met otherwise. The shopping mall was really popular for a long time. And while it's debatable whether or not it actually solved the problem Gruen saw, it can't be denied that it didn't cement its way into American culture in one way or another. Now they're kind of these labyrinthine retail graveyards, largely emptied out by online shopping. Another instance of convenience taking precedent over going outside and making contact with actual people. But listening to this got me thinking. We largely stopped going to malls, but I don't think that means that we as humans have just stopped being social creatures, or that we desire to make contact with each other less and less every year. It doesn't apply to everyone, but for me personally, I think some of the games I play have become a third place for me. A virtual one, but a third place nonetheless. I don't get out a lot these days, so I usually meet new people online, and I think that kind of situation is becoming a lot more common. I mean, I can't be alone in this. And I think with the way that games and technology in general is moving, it's becoming a lot easier. In recent days, I haven't even been at work, just mostly playing games to fill the time. It's probably been months since I've seen a new person, in person. But I've talked to plenty of people in the games I've been playing. What used to be a passing interaction with somebody has turned into something much more important. It's sort of my lifeline to the outside. That little bit of casual social contact goes a long way. Makes me feel a lot more connected to the people around me, whether or not I'm actually ever going to meet them. In person, that is. So anyway, one game I've been playing the absolute hell out of lately is Deep Rock Galactic. I'm an absolute sucker for those co-op horde survival games, as you could probably notice from my Left 4 Dead playtime. So this game was going to be right up my alley from the get-go. What I didn't expect though is just how good the community would be. It's good overall, but the in-game interactions with other players are just great. It's definitely no accident that going to the mining rig with your buddies after a mission and buying everybody a round of beer feels great, especially when I can't actually do that myself right now. You know, with real buddies and real beer. I feel like a lot of these games that have social experiences like this just kind of tucked away in between gameplay, they're standing out a lot more to me lately. In Deep Rock's case, I think that has a lot to do with it not being as gigantic as other games' communities, and the fact that the missions are procedurally generated, so you have a lot less optimization on the part of like just expecting people to know what to do. And I feel like it kind of encourages you to interact with people and, you know, be a team instead of just expecting everybody to know what they're doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of that no matter what game you're in, but I see a lot less of it here. There's something genuinely fun about showing people the ropes and kind of telling them how things work. Like when someone asks me like, what's this thing? Like I don't immediately go, oh my god, just look at the wiki. And that's definitely an attitude that, you can either encourage or discourage depending on the type of gameplay. I could definitely gush about this game way more, but I'll save that for another time. During this isolation period, I've been playing a lot more co-op games like that, and it's helped a lot, honestly. Like, I enjoy player versus player as much as anybody else, but I definitely don't get to talk to my teammates nearly as much when the match lasts like 10 minutes and you're done. You all leave the lobby, you never see each other again. I think people are just kind of noticing these social types of games a lot more. And demand has definitely gone up since people can't go meet other people in real life anymore. Back to that third place thing I was talking about. You've got no place to experience a sense of community anymore. So like, where else can you turn but a game? Obviously there are other solutions, but I think games are the most fun one. I mean, look at the launch of Animal Crossing. There's no mistake that game is so popular right now. I mean, it was going to be popular no matter what. It's Animal Crossing, for God's sake. But that exact moment in time where that game released, huge difference, I think. Not only is the game basically designed around giving you the warm fuzzies, but you have that visiting your friend's island, the closest thing you can get to hanging out with them when you're in a city that's on lockdown. At least I hope that's the closest you get, because you shouldn't be. But one place you can hang out, and that I have appreciated a lot more since quarantine started, like any social VR game. And yeah, VR is a long way off from people adapting it en masse, but there's a reason I keep hassling my friends to get it. Yeah, probably not a good financial decision if you already have limited income, but hey, I made a bad decision and I don't regret it. I dropped money on the Oculus Rift like a year and a half ago, and wow. The tech has a long way to go, but the social interactions I've had in VR games, miles above anything else I've played. The first game I played, of course, when I got my headset was VR Chat, and I'm like, oh shit, man, I have not seen another game emulate the presence of another person quite like that before. Like, it does something to your monkey brain. They're there. That person's there. You can read their body language, you can tell what they're thinking to a degree. It's like they say communication's like what? Let me search the number. Like 55%. Yeah, like a half of communication is nonverbal, and you don't get any of that, even when you get the 33% from tone of voice over mic. And you feel that when you can actually see the person, like, yeah, they don't have facial expressions, so you're probably missing like some percentage there, but it's close enough, let me tell you. And you still get that weird, like, uncanny, like, their avatars looking at you in the eyes, but it's actually just the eye tracking, and the facial expressions are probably not the actual facial expression, but it's close. It's right there. Point is, you gotta try it. I would say ask if you can go to a friend's house if they have one to try their headset on, but I don't trust anybody, no matter how much they Lysol that headset. So I'd wait. But if you can get into VR right now, it's never been a better time. You can come hang out with me and get sweaty palms talking to real people. Oh god. It's almost better than being at a real bar, because you can get drunk, and as soon as you feel like you're too hot and you want to go home, you can just take the headset off. Plus, you don't have to regret wasting a bunch of money, unless you count the $400 headset that you're wearing. Huh. Well, I'd say it's money well wasted. Up to you. So, bottom line, I don't think I've solved the Da Vinci Code of social interaction for people who are stuck inside today. I just think it's kind of cool that we're in an age where that third place of society where we go to be together as humans is no longer limited to a physical location. And when that physical location is completely moot, we have options. And I think developing games with options like that in mind is a great thing to do, for devs and for the players in the communities around the games. I've had some lobbies lately where people, instead of just, making small talk about the game, they just ask what's up. Like, how's everybody doing? You doing alright? How's your city doing? I think we should do more of that. A lot of times when I'm in the lobby with people, things stay pretty straight and narrow. You don't talk about personal stuff, but people are a lot more open to that right now, and that's cool. So I just encourage you, next time you have an option to interact with people in a game you're playing, I don't know, whether it's a co-op game or you're shooting shit or you're just hanging around, just say hi. Ask how people are doing. God knows that there's some people out there that probably need it right now. You know, at the end of the day, we play games to escape. It's a much welcome distraction from listening to the news or talking to people about how bad things are. But it really does help sometimes when someone just asks how you're doing. I had that happen to me the other week, and I've been thinking about it ever since. That genuine contact with people just happens so infrequently, especially in something like a multiplayer shooter. I'm usually the guy that's off mic. I just want to play the game, zone out. But I feel like me personally, I've been skipping a big part of what makes multiplayer games different from a single player experience. I don't know, just some thoughts. If you listened this far, thank you so much. I know I'm just rambling about stuff that I've been thinking about, but I really appreciate it. Also, if you've been noticing the same kinds of stuff in games you're playing right now, I'd love to hear about it. I'll definitely be reading the comments. I'm hoping that this is the first of many more videos to come. It'd be super cool if you decide to stick around and subscribe. I'm also streaming irregularly on twitch.tv/SearVend. Until next time, stay safe everyone.